Tommy Rex, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now, here's your host. The Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, The Offspring, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at sonictemplefestival.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and I'm catching up with Brian McShea of the band Good Terms. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just sound checked up here in St. Louis. Ready to rock, brother. How you doing?
Good, man. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm glad to be on a conversation and getting out of my head right now. It's been a weekend, you know.
I hear you, brother.
But usually when I have people on for the first time, I don't want to make this a therapy session for you or anything, but usually when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to get a quick background. So do you remember originally what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Oh man, the first thing I remember wanting to be was a garbage man, because I would watch them take they would hang off the back of the truck, and you know, they'd hang off the back of the truck while the truck was moving and collect the garbage. And that I thought they did that all the time, like on the highway and stuff. And I was like, that seems awesome. So that's my first aspiration I remember having. The second one was a visual artist, was drawing. That was my first passion. So, and then, you know, I went through a couple of transformations to become a musician. But yeah, garbage man and then visual artist.
Nice. And then when was it like in your household that you first discovered music? Who was some of the earliest artists you would recall hearing?
The first artist I remember hearing was Weird Al. I was in second grade. I think that makes a lot of sense. He had that song, The Saga Begins, about Star Wars, which really, really emotionally resonated with me as a second grader, especially, you know, kind of close to when the prequels were coming out. And so I played guitar a little bit. You know, I learned how to play Saga Begins, which is American Pie, you know, a G, C, and a D chord. But it was really 2004, 2005, Green Day, American Idiot, Bulletin the Bible. That was the stuff that me and my elementary school best friend Jacob were super into. And it's great. You know, American Idiot is a great record to learn guitar on, because it's pretty easy. You can get a lot of it under your hands in a couple months, and it's very encouraging. So Green Day was definitely the beginning of it all.
Nice. So then you mentioned listening to it with your friend, but when was it that you actually started playing guitar and actually getting out and putting a band together?
Started playing guitar fifth grade, February 2005, fifth grade. I remember that. You know, I had the guitar from when I was younger, when it was just the Weird Al stuff, but I hadn't really made a lot of progress. But I still had the guitar. You know, I figured out I liked Green Day, and you know, I just started putting it back together, putting, you know, how to play a couple things, how to play a power chord, how to play some of my favorite songs, and then it was just really, really encouraging. So I probably had my first band in seventh grade, you know, which was just a couple seventh grade friends coming over on a Friday night to, you know, play a couple cover songs, maybe some songs I wrote, you know, and watch a movie or something. And yeah, I don't think I started my first real band that played a gig until my senior year of high school. It took a while, because I was really into the music, the high school music program. I was really into drumline. I was really into marching band. I was really into jazz band. So I loved rock music that whole time. I was still writing my own songs and whatnot. But but I was playing, I was playing in drum lines a lot. I was making a lot of friends doing that. But yeah, so senior year is when I had my first like gigs with my first original band.
Nice. And what was like the music scene like where you grew up at?
I'm in Northern Virginia. I grew up in Northern Virginia with my two bandmates, Zach and Ivan, who both play guitar in good terms as well. They went to the rival high school, who crushed us in football, but not in band. They don't understand how much better my band was than theirs. They still don't get it, but still, my high school band, that is. But it was a little barren. There was a lot of deathcore. There's a lot of deathcore bands. I would say it was almost impossible to play a show that didn't have a deathcore band on the bill, which was, and I don't mind deathcore necessarily, but when you're trying to do you're trying to invite your high school friends to your pop punk band show, and everyone has figured out they're gonna have to sit through some deathcore. It's not always the best. But there were also some incredible musicians, some incredible players. There were some absolutely like bright and shining bands that the club that I always thought of back in Virginia is Jam and Java, which is still there, which is still a great club. And there were a couple of bands, like just surprisingly musical that would do really cool stuff there. But it was a little fractured. It was a little before I think social media made it easy to connect with other people. And so since the music scene wasn't like really easy to spot, I think it could feel a little barren at times. So, which is part of the reason I think that I went so hard with the the education, the high school band program, whatnot, was because, well, I could try to put a band together and play this like mixed bill that I don't think will work very well or feel very good, or I could be part of this drum line and we'll be pretty good. And that'll be pretty fun. So, I think that was a big part of growing up.
Yeah, you keep ironing out your craft and something you enjoy instead of trying to get out there and maybe get discouraged in a mixed
I wish I'd known about, I grew up 45 minutes away from DC. I didn't know anything about the DC all ages punk scene, all that stuff. And I think if I'd known that could have really changed what I did. I think I definitely would have been down to drive into DC and do some all ages stuff as a high schooler and whatnot. I think that would have been really cool. But whatever, I can still play a paradiddle. I'm still pretty good at drums, so I'll take it, man.
Yeah, nice. Everything happens for a reason, right?
Totally.
And then when was it that Good Terms came together?
Good Terms was a kind of a long, messy start to it. I say that we're really established 2020. But, like I said, I grew up with Zach and Ivan. We went to, with the rival high school. And our bassist, Gio, we went to college with him. Our drummer, Brendan, was in one of those bands. He's also from the Virginia area. He's from Maryland. He was one of those great musicians that I would grow up seeing. But Good Terms started in 2017-ish when our guitarist Zach was decided he wanted to start a band, and he had written all these songs. He was working on a record label and was dissatisfied with what he was doing and was trying to get into something more creative. And it started with him asking me to demo on a song because he knew I could sing rock music, and that ended up being the first song on our first album called All I Can. And we're writing songs with Ivan, and we're like, well, why don't we just have Ivan join the band? I know we have 3 guitar players now, but we all write songs, and Gio's a monster bass player, and we got Brendan to do the drums. So it was kind of a messy start to the whole thing, but we were rocking and ready to go in 2020. And of course, obviously the world shut down in 2020, but we figured it out. We were like, we're gonna figure out how to launch this thing this year for sure.
Yeah. And I'm always curious about names. Like, how'd you guys come up with the name, or what was the inspiration?
Good Terms is a song by the band Half-Hearted Hero, which is a pop punk band from Massachusetts. It's funny because there's a song by a band called Abandoned Bears, which is an easycore band that everyone thinks that we took our band name from, which would make total sense because we do have a big easycore strain to us. But Half-Hearted Hero makes even more sense because the lyrics are absolute poetry. The riffs are there, the musicality's there, and they're just such a artistically cool band that was the kind of band that I think that our bassist Gio kind of grew up seeing, would get to open for when in his high school band. And we had a couple things that we were considering, but Good Terms won out. And a funny story, we were in I don't know, last year, maybe 2 years ago, I was at a local coffee shop where I live in California, and I was, the barista was like, "What are you doing this night?" I was like, "Oh, I'm playing emo night with my band Good Terms." And he was like, "Oh, Anthony was in a pop punk band. Anthony, meet this guy." And he's like, "Oh, what's your band name?" Like, "Oh, my band name's Good Terms. What's your band name?" He's like, "Oh, I was in a small Massachusetts band called Half-Hearted Hero." And I was like, "You mean the band did Good Terms and my song that my band is named after?" Like, what a world, man. So I that's just a larger than life story. I can't believe it's true, but that's where the band name came from.
Nice. And what was his reaction when you told him that your band was named after one of their songs?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I was thinking there's no way that you're named after that song, but that's what it was. And he's the lyricist. I mean, he's the poet and everything. So it was super cool to meet him. And he's an awesome guy. He at one point I went through this thing last year where my house burned down and I lost all my guitars, and he lent me a guitar. We wrote a song together. It's all very full circle, and he's rad. He's a freaking librarian, like went to college for it and everything, which totally makes sense. So that's one of the coolest relationships to have.
Yeah, that's nice how, that you formed a friendship with him and everything after all that. And then did he come see you guys play that night too, or?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he's seen his play. I should try and get him to one of these, to our LA show, this headline tour we're doing. We got about 2 weeks here left. Because I don't know. I don't think emo night was exactly his vibe. But I should get him to one of these shows. That would be perfect.
Yeah, man, for sure. And then, like you kind of touched on it, but like, tell me a little bit about, well, first you guys started in 2020 and we all know what happened then.
Of course.
What kept the band going during that time? Just like a lot of writing, a lot of jamming together, or?
Yeah, we had our first album, Turning Point, ready to go before the world shut down. We had prepared all of these songs, prepared the cover, we had prepared all of it, and we were ready to like hit the ground running. And when the world shut down, we were like, okay, nobody knows what the new plan for bands is, and we're, and rock is such a live genre, and I'm particularly such a live performer, that it really, really was a lot to kind of go back and figure out, how are we going to survive in this, in the way the world is currently. But we took, there was a lot of time. We lived together. We were kind of our bubble. So it was a very creative time. We made a lot of music videos. We learned a lot about how to use social media for a band, which has only been a good thing, a good skill to have. Excuse me.
I'm still trying to learn that for podcasts.
Man, I mean, and it changes. They change it on you every month. The algorithms and everything. It never ends.
Yeah,
it never ends. But I try to keep my head on the, my eyes on the prize of like, I can't. Especially, it's nice out here when you play the shows and you connect with people who say, "Oh, I found you on TikTok. I found you on Instagram," and it's like, okay, so now all that time on my phone, now I'm meeting a person for real. Like, there is a person-to connection. That is the goal at the end of the day here, and we really can use social media to make it happen if we keep our eyes on the prize and not get screwed up with the algorithm stuff and the trends and the virality and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And then you also mentioned about like losing your home and everything during the fires. I had a lot of friends in LA too that dealt with the same stuff. Like, what was that time like going through that?
Whew, I mean, what a massive time. I think that we lived in a town called Altadena, which was a really beautiful place that my fiance Stephanie and I had really, really fallen in love with. Just a really, really special place in Los Angeles. Just like very neighborly. Everyone, really like lots of different kinds of people living all around us who all knew each other, all involved in each other's lives. It was a really beautiful place, and the whole town got absolutely razed. It's very surreal to go back there and you can see so far. You know, where you used to just see a house and now you can see miles and miles because there's, you know, thousands of homes were destroyed. And so, I mean, it was surreal, you know, to lose my everything I owned. I was out of town at the time. Stephanie my fiance had got our pets out before she really knew that it was a fire. She got our pets out because we had lost power. So she saved the most important things, you know, for sure, the cat and the dog. And, but yeah, just like everything was, you know, I don't know, you lose everything. It's what a, I was going to joke and say you should try it sometime, but you absolutely shouldn't. You should not try it sometime. You should do a thought exercise and what it would be like to do that. I think that I am personally the luckiest person who was affected by the fires at all, whether the house was totally burned down or just affected by whatever. I'm the luckiest person. Los Angeles really came together to support all of us affected, and the music industry came together to really support all of us. And of course, the Good Terms community really came together to support me. And I felt so lifted, you know, I felt so like loved and encouraged, and people from the Good Terms world, people that I hadn't seen since middle school, Gibson, Fender, Sweetwater, all of these companies, like, of course, my friends in Good Terms, all sorts of Los Angeles-based organizations came together to really try to help people, and they really helped me in particular. I was really able to land on my feet. So I really do try to push people. You know, there are a lot of ways you can help Altadena. There are a lot of groups like My Tribe Rise, Altadena Rising, that you can, you know, if you're interested in helping Altadena, they really need it. Those people deserve it, man. Those people are amazing. But I was able to kind of soldier on. You know, I had to take a couple weeks to be with my fiance and you know, figure out what our game plan was for the you know, how we were going to rebuild our life. But I was very blessed that, like, you know, a month and a half after it happened, I was on tour with Good Terms, playing a guitar through a rig, you know, playing this. That all sounded good. All the fans were there. I felt very blessed.
And then, and was the original guitar you learned to play Green Day? With? Was that lost during that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't have the oldest guitar I had was from high school, but it wasn't that one. That one I learned to play Green Day on a borrowed electric guitar from a family friend. And I actually saw my family friend on this tour, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I still got that. I still lend it out to, you know, kids who are learning guitar," which is really awesome. I wonder how many kids have learned guitar on that guitar. But I had a guitar from high school that I played with my first band that did a gig in my senior year. It was a gold semi-hollow body Epiphone Riviera with 3 P90s with a Bigsby whammy bar, and it played like crap at this point. I had not taken care of it. I used it in the music video for the Good Term song "Old Friend." So that was I think that was the oldest guitar of mine that I had that I lost. And I only had it to hang on the wall. But yeah, that baby's gone.
And like you were saying, though, during that time, like the community came together to support you, and it, you know, pretty cool that the person that you ended up meeting that inspired the band's name, you know, ends up becoming a friend and then loaning you a guitar as well to continue on.
He lived south of where the fires were, but the coffee shop he worked at was in Altadena. And so we met at this Altadena coffee shop, the Altadena location of this coffee shop. And so we had the Altadena thread in common. And the coffee shop is no more, was burned to the ground. And luckily, you know, he still had his home and whatnot. But yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, man. And then now I'll get back to some happier stuff. Obviously, I mean, you, the cat, the dog, your fiance are doing a lot better now. You you're now, out on the road and stuff. But the album Burnout Deluxe that you guys ended up putting out, what was like the inspiration behind that name, and also like what is like the message is there a message you're trying to send out with that album?
Yeah, the album was made like kind of one song at a time. By the time we really realized we were going to wrap it up into an album, we only had a couple songs left. So we were trying to find a way to pull it all together. And we're mostly going through the lyrics, trying to find a line that we felt like resonated truthfully through all the songs. And Burnout is from the song Reaching. It's just a line. It's just a word. And one of the lines is this burnout. And we felt like it had all these multiple meanings that applied to everything. I mean, obviously the very relevant idea of burning yourself out on how hard you're working, which for sure, I'm sure resonates with everybody, and definitely resonates with us in good terms. The idea of a burnout in the like 90s slacker sense. A lot of the songs that I wrote for this album are about my relationship really with myself, but through how much pot I was smoking. I smoked a lot of pot. I was stoned for about 10 years, which ended right before my house burned down. And but a lot of those songs are about, at the very least, using it as a storytelling device for my relationship with myself and growing up and whatnot. So burnout in that sense, and then even the sense of doing a burnout in your car, just to be loud and show-offy and flashy, which as guitar players we resonate with. I mean, we're a songwriting focused band, but we like to throw in the solos. We like to throw in the technical stuff, just for fun. So it felt like it made sense on all these different levels, that's how we came up with the burnout concept. And then I think that all of those, I think that all those layers resonate differently with fans, and I'm sure other people have their own ways that they interpret it, which is important to me. I want people to be able to interpret, all of the art we put out their own way. But that's definitely where it came from for us, was all those different takes on burnout.
Well, let's talk about one of the songs that you like to have people interpret in their own way, but how about All In? What was like that theme?
Oh man. I love All In because it's the first song that we wrote on the road, in the tour van, on one of our very first tours, supporting the Burnout songs. And I was sitting in this is my chair. I sit shotgun, and Ivan, our guitar player, Ivan, was usually the driver, and he was just talking about the conversations that he was having with his girlfriend, in terms of like the problems that she's having at home while I'm on the road, the problems I'm having on the road, and how we're both trying to support each other through the phone, all across all this distance, and how much he just wanted it all to work out, and how that like hope that it would work out, however like small the hope is all that he was going on. And I had this guitar riff, the main riff of the song, and I was like, okay, well, I have this riff, like what if we wrote about that? And I think he came up with the day will come when both of us are up, when we can say we've won. And I think I spitballed the rest of it off there. And from then on, it was like, okay, well, I'm in this moment too with my fiance. She was my girlfriend at the time, but my fiance. And it was so easy to just look out the window and reference the boarded up town, to reference the tailgating the slow cars, reference the crowd in Vegas, all these little things. It was so easy to build that picture of being on the road, trying to support your girlfriend who's at home having it rough, trying to support you, because we were doing it in real time. And I feel like it makes sense with Burnout, not only just because we wrote it, while on our first tour supporting Burnout, but because we're all out here just trying. We're trying so hard. I'm trying to do the tour thing. You're trying to do your job at home. And we're both trying to support each other through the phone. And it's tough, man. But I'm betting. It's a bet. It's not a guarantee, but I think it's the right choice for me to do. So that's where All In came from.
Oh, gotcha. And then talk about the song Progress. Like, what was the inspiration for that?
Do you know what's funny? I wrote Progress in January 2020. So like right at that point where I was talking about where the band was ready to rock and the world hadn't even shut down yet. And I was definitely stoned, probably I think at the dog park, and just feeling like I was 24, 25, and just feeling like a loser for whatever reason. I think I say it in the song, just the weight gain and the chest pain and the I had bought a bunch of presents for my mom, but I hadn't actually done the work to give them to her. Just all these various reasons I felt like a freaking loser. And so I wrote Progress, and the boys liked it immediately. And we thought it was going to go on Burnout originally. And then by the time we were wrapping up Burnout, we were like, we feel like we need a ballad. We feel like we need like, a heavy, we need a pop, we just don't need that one yet. So by the time we needed it was last year, and it was right after the house had burned down. And it's crazy how much new life that it got in the wake of the house burning down. Because I was putting out this song that to me was originally just this like, I'm a stoner and I'm a bad boyfriend and I wish that I was better. And by the time it came out, it to everyone thought it was about the house burning down. It seemed like I was being like, nothing's gonna stop me, and like I'm just holding on for dear life at this point, man. Like I'm just riding all. Like I said, it felt like I was lifted by a wave of support. Like I'm just out here trying to count my blessings and happy I get to put out a song with my band. And I did not expect that song to hit the way it hit, but it has definitely resonated with people. That's definitely another one that people, I say I really want people to interpret our songs however they really want to. Not only do people think that it's about the fire or whatnot, when really it's just, stoner loser. People tell me their own stories that they're going through and how that song has been their anthem for getting through it. That are, private obviously, but like just these big battles that people are going through, these big journeys that they're on, that I'm really grateful to be a positive part of. And it really has made me reconsider like what the point of writing a song is and releasing a song. That's why it's so important to me that people are able to interpret it the way that they want to.
Nice. And then I want to talk a little bit about the music video. Who picked that location? Whose house was that?
That was our drummer Brendan's house. We needed a free music video location. So that was our big creative limitation. We knew that we wanted to kind of just be in a space and just perform. We didn't want to do anything really high concept. We kind of stumbled into doing these lower concept, just perform. We perform. We headbang. We do the jumps. We do all that stuff. Like it's enough for us to just perform. We just need a nice looking space to do it in. And we knew so we knew Brendan's house was an option. We were considering all of our options, and I had kind of considered this idea of messy growth, plants I had these house plants that they're growing over the tops of the pots and kind of getting in everything, and I just liked the idea of the song. Growth is messy, and that really lines up with Progress, especially the way that the song Progress has transformed from a stoner loser song to this thing about the fires to whatever it's become for everyone else. So I was like, okay, we'll go to Brendan's house, which is a nice, a nice aesthetic space, and we'll throw these plants everywhere, and we'll throw these cables everywhere. It's real creative, as if it's like a home studio. We got our friend Sam, Sam Laponis, who's a absolute wizard behind the camera. we rented a couple lights, but he knew what he wanted with the lighting. I knew what I wanted with the colors. And we'd worked with him a bunch before. So we kind of knew how it was going to go down. And it was a little harder than we thought. It took a little longer than we thought it was going to take. Like, that was a long day. And we had to have, we couldn't use any AC because of the haze. Like, we needed the fog to stay in the room. So it was so much hotter than we had anticipated. We thought, like, oh, Brandon's house, this will be super easy. It was actually, like, kind of challenging. But still, it was, I really love the way that video came out. I love the way it looks. I love the feeling that it gives. I think it definitely achieves what I was going for with the whole messy growth is beautiful kind of thing.
So then are you like also like kind of like the director or visionary for most of your videos, or just that one?
I am so lucky to be in a band with multiple songwriters. All the guitar players in my band write. And then Gio and Brendan are also just two absolute creative powerhouses. So they don't write the songs for us, but they are just absolute artists. So usually, like, there's some sort of collaboration. Like, I'm not sure how much I collaborated with Gio on that one, but with that one, I had a vision and I went for it. And usually that's how it is. If someone's going to take the ball down the court and make the basket, you just kind of let them do it. Because I was trying to do the same thing with All In. Because, I had a big hand in writing that too. But Zach was the one who was like, yo, I think we can get this space. I think it can do this thing. And I was like, oh, and it can mean this in our story. It'll visually be like that, So it's definitely a collaborative effort, and we kind of just like let whoever's got the vision take the ball down the court.
Nice. And then, you guys have been getting a lot of like play on Sirius XM, helped, build up a lot of the follows and stuff like that. Like, what was that like, coming from, the kid that would cover Green Day to having your, song that you wrote, like, played on, satellite radio?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a big pinch myself thing. I definitely did not see that coming, especially at this point in our career. I definitely credit that to our industry team, to our label, Secret Friends. Mark Woodbridge at Secret Friends has been working a big fan of the band and working real hard for us, and has definitely been a big change in our band since we've been working with him.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. When I was watching the video, I saw the Secret Friends. I was going to ask you what's that?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So we have a great industry team. It's Mark Woodbridge at Secret Friends. Casey Cavalieri from Lesser Matters manages us. He's in the band The Wonder Years, if you know them, which is one of our biggest inspirations. And they came to us as a unit back in 2023 after the song Cough came out, and they've just been hustling for our band and so creative, coming up with these backdoor ways to make things happen for us. And so Mark having the Sirius, making the Sirius XM thing happen, that was really his achievement, his project that he led. And I definitely was like, we're not big enough to be played on Sirius XM. There's no way they're gonna go for it. And we have a great relationship with Sirius now, man. Like, they've had us into the Sirius XM studio to play live. We've done a couple songs live in their studio. They've been real big supporters of the band. And I just can't believe it. And again, you go to shows and you meet someone who's like, oh yeah, I listen to you every morning on my way to work on Sirius XM. And it just blows my mind, man. We get to make those kinds of connections. So it's definitely been like a lot of work to make that kind of thing happen, but I couldn't be more grateful.
And then obviously that has helped and contributed to this summer, you guys getting to play the Vans Warped Tour.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah. If I pinch myself anymore, man, I'm gonna bleed, dude. I'm gonna bleed. Yeah, man, because I grew up on Warped Wednesdays. Zach, our guitar player Zach, I went to every Warped Tour for over 10, probably from 2004, 2018 or something. I didn't go to Warped Tour until 2018 because I was a dumbass. But I grew up in all that stuff. I grew up in all those bands. I grew up in watching those videos. such a cornerstone of, the genre and culture that we're a part of. And to get to be a part of it is, I'm a writer. I'm supposed to have words for this, but I don't. I don't, man. I'm unbelievably psyched. It really filled us with a lot of energy for the year for sure. I'm really looking forward to it. I really think that what we do is going to be really fun on those stages with those crowds. I'm really looking forward to bringing what we do to those people. And yeah, man, just grateful for them to having us, man.
Nice. So people attending Vans Warped Tour. What is it? Long Beach and Orlando.
Long Beach in July, Orlando November, baby.
Yeah, definitely go check you guys out in your set. And then right now you're currently still on the Highway to Hell Yeah, brother, right?
Yes, sir. Highway to Hell Yeah, brother tour, man. Yeah, dude, our first headline tour ever.
How's that been going for you? I mean, especially now, have you done tours before, like as support
we've been almost exclusively supporting for the last couple years. We've done like a couple co-headlining things here and there, but we haven't done a true, solo headline slot ever really. And we were a little nervous going into it because we've supported bands and we've seen what headliners go through. What it's like to headline. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work, and these shows have been crazy, man. We were so nervous, and after the first couple shows, we were like, "Oh, this is actually awesome." We're so used to like these cold audiences that we have to win over. That I think we're pretty good at winning over. But now I get to go out and play one chord, and everyone's super stoked that we're playing that one chord. It feels like surfing, and the waves are really good. That's like the way I can imagine describing it. It's really nice to play the full headline show. We get to play a couple songs we don't normally get to play. We get to really round out the edges of what we want to say as a band, as opposed to try to fit it all in half an hour and just play as much impressive things as possible. We can kind of stretch it out and really like get engrossed in a feeling, and then jump, and then do the circle pit, and then do all the things. And the audiences seem like they've been waiting to have an excuse to sing the songs with us, which is just an incredible experience. The last show we played the other day was sold out in Columbus at the Ace of Cups, and
nice.
Just like I think it was 300 people, which is I think that's the biggest sold out show I've played, headliner, and it felt like 1,000. It felt like I looked out and it never ended. I couldn't believe it, man.
And then you guys were just in my backyard here playing Mahal's.
Oh yeah,
on February 25th. What was your experience like there,
dude? So here's my thing. We played the Roxy last July. We opened for Emery at the Roxy. So I knew, which is attached to Mahal's, right? And so I knew that the venue, the building is awesome. The green room is crazy and big. There's a bowling alley. There's a diner. There's a vintage store. There's all these things like in the building that are really great. So I was looking forward to that. But I also, the morning of that show back in July, I lost my voice. And it was the beginning of this run, and I was freaking out. And I was looking out. I was like, this is such a great room. It's such a great venue. And I really would love to give it my all, but I can't because I don't have a voice. And we had a good show. They were super, Cleveland was super, super, super nice to us, super generous to us. But I just knew that I wanted to give more. So I was stoked to come back and not lose my voice and do the damn thing. And so I got to do that. I got to go back and Mahal's was there are a bunch of people in Mahal's, man. You never know. Even though the tour's been going well, you still never know at every show. Like, well, this one surely no one's gonna show up to. Like, our luck has run out, right? And no, man, the people, tons of people were there, and they went off, man. They went off.
Yeah, I had one of my photographers there covering you guys, and he said it was packed and it made it difficult for him to try and get in and get the good shots, especially as crazy as the crowd went. But he said he had a great time,
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, sorry, brother. I'm just, can't
Yeah, no, I mean,
boxes.
it's what it's about, man. And then, I love the name. Who came up with the name of the tour?
Man, I truly cannot believe that. We were sitting on a call with our industry team, and we were just spitballing names, and somebody said this name, and we all just died laughing. And then we got off the call, and then I think Mark from Secret Friends was like, "Hey, I bought highwaytohellyeahbrother.com." I was like, "Oh my god, I guess we're gonna go with this."
Yeah, nice.
And it's awesome, man. We've been starting the nights with the recording of Highway to Hell, and as soon as the notes start playing from Highway to Hell, people know that the show's starting. They start cheering and stuff. It's been really, really fun, and especially like Green Day was the first band for me, but AC/DC was the second band for me. So the seventh grader in me, I feel very connected to the seventh grader in me, because I love AC/DC. Perfect band.
Nice. Did you guys end up making like shirts with the name of the tour on it and stuff?
Oh
too?
yeah, man. Yeah, we got the we try to base it off classic rock T-shirts as well, because the classic rock T-shirts are just, they have such great design. They have such a great like aesthetic to them. So we try to have the great design in the front with Good Terms Live, and on the back it says Highway to Hell Yeah Brother with all the dates on it. And the fans have been liking it, man. We were a little worried because if you don't sell your tour T-shirt on that tour, people aren't going to buy it on the next tour. A bunch of dates that aren't of the dates they've seen. But we've already had to restock and get more because fans have sold it out twice now, I think.
Oh yeah, man, I would have bought one for sure. And I already got way more concert shirts than I need, in my home. But the Highway to Hell Yeah Brother, come on.
It's
and then when this tour wraps up, you guys got the Warped shows coming up, Vans Warped Tour shows.
Mm-hmm.
What any other tours getting planned for after?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. I think this tour, we're all kind of waiting to see what this tour would do. And we're all pretty pumped about how this tour is going. So I think we're still working out what the rest of the year is going to look like, but we have a lot of juice in the tank. That's not the saying. We have a lot of fuel in the tank. That's what I'm going to say. We have a lot of fuel in the tank from these shows, from this tour. So I'm definitely hoping to put some stuff out, putting some stuff out around, the Warped Tour stuff, and during the summer, definitely would love to hit the road, man, be back out here, because this is a blast.
Awesome. And then, for any fans that might be watching that might be new to hearing about Good Terms, I want to check you guys out and support you, or maybe catch you in their town. Where would you send them?
Dude, whatever social media you use, we're on. Definitely, Instagram, TikTok, or goodtermsband.com for sure. Those are I'm on there all the time. I'm always letting you know what's up. We got the Discord as well if you want to get more up close and personal. I'm in the Discord, man, which is on our Instagram. It's on our website. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere that you would maybe be. We're on Facebook. So just look for us and we'll be there. And I'm posting. I'm there. We're reading your messages, reading your comments. So
nice. And then before I get ready to wrap up with you, mind if I ask you a few questions I normally ask guests that I have on?
Yeah, man, go for it.
Now, you mentioned some of your inspirations early on musically, but who are the top 3 artists that you're listening to today?
Ooh, listen to today. Well, see, Ivan drives, and the driver has final say over the stereo. So I listen to a lot of whatever Ivan wants to listen to, which luckily has included a lot of AC/DC. I do love to listen to some AC/DC. Dude, that's a great question. What am I fucking listening to right now? I listen to a lot of this lo-fi artist called Ginseng, which is somewhat background music. But it is kind of just the most perfect vibe of all time. It's like what I imagine the sound of tea brewing is, It's just beautiful. It's just like instrumental parts of 70s soul set to like very pleasant drums, and it rips. And then, I mean, maybe just because this was one of the last things you're listening to, but I am listening to the story so far. I love the story so far. That makes a lot of sense. And their live album is really great. I love live albums, and they just put out a banger live album, where he sounds great singing. All of the production sounds great. All of the fan stuff, all the crowds, they sound awesome. So yeah, I'd say right now it's been AC/DC, it's been Ginseng, and it's been the story so far. Good spread.
Yeah, nice. And then, what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school today?
Just in general, or should I include one that like I don't think they have?
I mean, yeah, in general, but something maybe like you said, you think they don't have, but you think they could use, you know?
You should definitely have to do some sort of art class, I think, for sure. I don't think it has to be music, but I think everyone should understand why art is good for you, even as a person who's not an artist or doesn't think they consume a lot of art. You definitely do. And art is just a tool for us to work through our emotions with, and everybody's got emotions. It's very helpful to have a good relationship with art. I think I kind of wish physical education was better, because moving your body is another thing that we're just meant to do. It's meant to feel good and to be awesome. And I feel like a lot of like, I don't know anybody who talks about PE positively, PE class. But if they could find a way to make PE class positive, because moving my body, learning to, really enjoy moving my body has been a really transformative part of my life. I've gone in and out of it. I mean, I'm not in shape right now. That's not what I mean. But I just mean like in the good term show is very physical. There's a lot of jumping and moving around for that. Just the effect that working out has had on my life, just the effect that, various outdoor physical activities have had on my life. I think that they are really kind of like similarly to art, like it's not just so you can like look hot or something. It's
huge for mental health as well, Huge
Absolutely.
for mental health, big time.
Yeah. And then, I mean, this one already is mandatory, but history. I think maybe they could do a better job of explaining why you're learning the history. It's a basic quote, but those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Like, it's good to be able to recognize what's going on in the larger world, because there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the larger world, but also in your community, in your own life. And it's good to know what people and what other peoples and civilizations and whatnot have gone through. And when done well, it's very interesting. If people from all sorts of stretches of time have gone through things that are very viscerally similar to what you could be going through at any given moment, and you can learn a lot about the decisions they made and the lives they got after it. So I would say history.
Definitely. And then who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Ooh. God damn. Oh man. Okay. Lucas Anderson was my drumline captain only for 1 year. When I was a freshman in high school, and he was barely my drumline captain. I played guitar. He played quads. He played tenors. So like he wasn't really giving me a lot of instruction, but he was also the drummer in jazz band, and I was a guitar player in jazz band as a freshman. He encouraged me to join drumline, which was a big part of my growing up. But Lucas was funny and nice and encouraging and welcoming and the fucking captain and in charge. And he led in a way that had a really positive effect on the culture of our group and everyone in it. And it really made working hard and trying very cool. Something to definitely do. And I have carried that carried on through Drumline, through a lot of other members of Drumline. And that's carried on through my whole life. I think about him when I go to man, I should like call him and tell him some of this. I think about him when I go to
or send him this video when we're done.
Yeah, you know, the way I act in my own organization, the way I act, you know, with knowing that there's a good community of good terms people, you know, listening to what I say. I think he had a really positive effect on me and a lot of other people, and what the organization was able to do. And I'd love to have that kind of effect as well. Damn, I got two more.
You know what I love though, when people, you know, normally people, you know, they'll say, you know, something like their parents and, you know, their significant other, or maybe one of their bandmates and stuff like that. But I love when people bring up somebody like a teacher or somebody that inspired them or did something in their youth, because it's like those are like some of the unsung heroes, you know, that they don't know what the impact that they have on a kid growing up, man. So I love when people share that. So that was amazing.
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of those figures, especially in the, you know, especially like I said, I spent a lot of time in the music ed program, and I definitely learned a lot of lessons that I kind of still think about a lot about how what makes a successful organization. There's a lot of kids, especially a lot of them are literally children. Yeah, how do you make children succeed? If you make children succeed, you can make adults succeed, you know. So there were a lot of people, and I was in my head, I was trying to be like, which one of those people do I pick? And I had to pick Lucas because I just feel like he had a ripple effect to the way he acted. So yeah, so definitely Lucas. Man, I wish I could think of two more. I would say my parents. I'm going to say them as one person.
Yeah, that's fine.
My parents have been very supportive my whole life. But have also tried to, you know, they've tried to instill the boundaries they felt was necessary, while also, you know, supporting me in pursuing the arts and whatnot. You know, I have a business owner dad and an accountant mom, which is that one person takes risks and does their own thing, and the other person balances the fucking books. And that is good. That has been I think that has been a good, you know, set of parameters to grow up with. They've definitely instilled me, I think, with a certain drive to do my own thing, to take the risk, to believe in myself and whatnot, but also a sensibility, my responsibility. If I have any sensibility and responsibility, it's definitely because of my mom. So yeah, so that's two people. I might make that three if I can't think of a third one. I feel very indebted to a lot of people in my life. I think that I could talk about a lot of people who've had a really big positive impact on me that I'm really grateful for. So trying to narrow it down to three is tough.
I gotcha. Yeah, it usually is.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll do my parents as two people just for the sake of time, of hemming and hawing and whatnot. But the takeaway for sure should be that there's just, I mean, I've been blessed to be surrounded by one of the things that has made me, I think, one of the luckiest people is that I have been around a lot of really great people who've had a positive effect on me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. We need to hear more stories like that. We're getting too much of the negative and, you know, the dark side of people out there. We need more pick-me-ups like that, man.
Yeah.
And then like going back to more happier times as well. Favorite toy as a child?
A lightsaber. I like a fully like retractable movie. Not an expensive one, but like
Yeah.
a sensibly priced, fully retractable lightsaber, because you can make something out of that for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
I could have said Legos too, but I'm gonna say that a little more physical.
Gotcha. And then yeah, I mean, like I was saying, a lot of stuff going on, especially right now in the world. But I always ask this question: any message you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Woo! Woo! They're gonna listen to my words. Goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I am ready to give them a proper message, because I do think that if they're going to spend their off time listening to a message from an American citizen, they should get a good one, for sure.
Well, you know how many Good Terms fans are out there. Maybe your music's been getting them out of their heads. I know when I was in, dude, I would listen to, bunch of bands or like even podcasts just to get out of the moment, just to kind of have that feeling of home. I
hear you, man. I hear you, brother. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is how much respect I have for the discipline that any military member has developed. I am a rock musician. I live in a touring van. I have discipline. I've learned how to play guitar and be good and whatnot. But I think that the effects that someone with that amount of discipline can have, both far away from home and also when they come back home, is a great thing that we're blessed to have people with that much discipline in our society. So I just want to say I appreciate that.
Awesome. Brian, man, thank you for the time. I'm glad we got it all figured out, man. We're able to have this conversation.
Absolutely. Thanks for working with me.
Yeah, man. And real quick, before I let you go, you mind doing me one last favor?
Yes, sir.
You mind cutting a promo ID for the show? Just introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Absolutely. This is right now. Am I good?
Yeah.
This is Brian McShea from Good Terms, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. It was great talking with you, man.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you working with my my time zone fuckery.
Take care, man.
All right.
Listen up! Hold on to your seats! Grab your girls, grab your beers!
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.